It's reading recommendations time again. I don't know why I said that. Weird. It's probably I will tell you that there are gonna be spoilers before I do talk about spoilers, because for reading recommendations, you kind of want to recommend something to recommend the book to someone who hasn't read it. But I'm also reviewing them. Not every book, and especially not one from one of these piles. Like, you know, in this section, pretty much every time I've done these, there's at least one or two I don't recommend. Same here. So I just call it reading recommendations because books I read this week don't sound as good. I don't know. Reading recommendations sounds better, like you say. Like it sounds more natural. So the first two were the wrong ones. This one I'd already read. This was volume 1. I don't know why I did that. I really should have put 2 and 2 together, but I didn't. And this one for John Constantine Hellblazer, I wanted volume 3, and they give me volume 19. To be fair, it doesn't say it right here, and I don't even know if it would say no. It says, because I think the Vertigo goes here, and this is only covering the Vertigo symbol. But yeah, it was really weird. I think what happened was the person. This is my theory, is that the guy who does the reading that's the reading recommendations, who does the interloans. It wasn't me that did this. It was the interloans. They're all interloans actually. I think they all are, right? Yeah, I think so. But the interloan personally, there's 2 people. One that puts into the computer, and one that gets the books in the library. So there must have been a disconnect. Like the guy, she said, "Oh, Avengers and John Constantine, yada yada yada," and he never put 2 and 2 together. He just saw it like this on the shelf. It was like these. So I don't know. I did put in the right one. So let's see what happens this time. Oh yeah, duh. And the worst one, the lamest one, the stupidest one, and just look at that stupid artwork. This is so overrated. This is so stupid. It's actually stupid. It's Vox Machina Origins. Critical Role Vox Machina Origins. So lame. It's like they were writing for kids, but then they're like, oh yeah, that's right, we can write for adults. So they had some swear words, and then some violence. I gave it 2 chances. I gave it 2 issues. First issue I hated. Second issue wasn't as bad as the first issue at the start, but then at the end I'm like, I'm done. I'm so done with this. And it's because of this book that I am so skeptical about getting Battle Chasers anthology, mainly because it's a book no one's heard about. At least with Darkness and Witchblade, which Witchblade Part 2 was coming out this month, but Darkness isn't. Although Darkness did just come out, that's right too. Duh. The Complete Darkness Volume 1 came out this year, and Witchblade came out last year. I gotta remind myself that. I may get that soon when it comes out. It's funny because that one comes out April 20th, 420, and then DCeased Part 3 comes out on the 27th. So those weeks I'll have to be saving up money. And they're $30 each, so it's basically a week's pay. Good thing back at work. So yeah, this one was just so lame, so stupid. It was, again, it's like they're writing for kids, but they forgot that. And it's not even that. Like, I don't think kids would like. It's boring. It's stupid. It's like, it's lame. Like it's everything you think about when you think of Dungeons and Dragons and how nerdy that sounds. And like their stereotype of Dungeons. That's kind of what it's like. Is Dungeons and Dragons like that stereotype you have of nerds doing like like when they went parody, it's like Simpsons or something. It's like that parody. It's like reading that parody, but it's not a parody or anything. It's taking itself seriously, or it's semi-seriously. It's not a parody in the slightest. Yeah, super lame. And what sucks about that Battle Chasers one is I lost that receipt. So, shit. I mean, I wouldn't want to give it back to them anyways, because it's kind of scummy to do. I mean, I didn't give back Bitch Planet. Oh yeah, Bitch Planet, by the way, I regret getting that, because I heard it was a bad book. I need to stop trusting Goodreads as much. I got a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads, but a lot of people... I don't need to... It's not that I should trust Goodreads. It's not that I should or shouldn't trust Goodreads. It's that I should look at the reviews on Goodreads. Now, going back, that was the only bad one, so from here on out, they're all good, for the most part. Wonder Woman Volume 4, War. I love this series. This has, like, improved itself drastically from Volume 1. Volume 1, if I didn't know that it got better, I didn't really know it got better. If I hadn't given it a second chance by getting the next volume, I would be missing out. I'm so glad I decided to hell with it and got the second volume. Because I did like the first volume. It was just kind of slow, kind of a slow start, but then it keeps going. It gets going and it keeps going. There's so many things that happen in here that I'm surprised that they were able to do. Mainly, not like Wonder Woman's nude or anything like that. No, it's just kind of like with characters. Certain characters make sacrifices. Although they do go back with the characters, so never mind. Oh yeah, spoiler, sorry. I tried not to give it away, but... Oh. I didn't say who it was. But yeah, this was so damn good. I highly recommend this one. I mean, obviously the series itself. Sex criminals. Sex criminals. It is just, it's basically that. It's so, like, this is definitely the most adult book I have read. I mean, Saga comes closer, but, like, yeah, this is not for kids in this, well, you can tell by the title. Yeah, this is, like, the stuff that they're allowed to do, I'm like, wow, okay, you're allowed to do that now? I mean, it's more like, I knew they're allowed to do that, but I'm like, okay, now you're going to full mile. This would definitely be R-rated, like right off the bat. There's a sex talk alone would gain them an R rating. I'd say it would be R. Like the entire book would be R. But yeah, definitely not for kids. It's so damn good too. It is. Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction. Oh yeah, Matt Fraction. There was another Matt Fraction book I didn't like. What was it? No, sorry, I like this one. I didn't mean to say that like that. But there was a Matt Fraction one I was reading. I didn't like it. And I was like, oh, I hope. Oh, was it like a Superman book too? Because it got good ratings too, right? I don't know. But this one I thoroughly enjoyed. They already solicited volume 2. They had a volume 2 hardcover for $6 at my local library. At that Salem Newbury Comics, I almost got it. I really hope they have it in my local library because I'm going to be so pissed off if it turns out they don't have it. Knock on wood, I hope they have it. Yeah, this is a good read. Good read. But just know that, like, if you have a problem with, like, explicit sex talk and shit like that, then probably don't read it, but I would say at least give it a chance. Issue 1 is for free on, or Image, on Kindle, and, like, their app. Well, actually, Image doesn't have an app anymore. It's Comixology, which... I just hate that I had to go to them because there was one book that was cheaper from them. It was on sale, too, like, on sale worldwide. It was on sale on the Marvel app, but not on the Kindle. And then 3 days later, it was on sale on the Kindle. It's like, screw you. And it was actually a Fantastic Four book. It's a nice segue. This one was good. I'm glad that this is the last Warren Ellis volume, though. It did end pretty good. I like the ending. Like, it was just kind of slow. This is definitely one of the ultimate books from the Ultimates line that made it into what we know as it. What we know as it today. Like, this is definitely one that people would read and they'd be like, really, people like the Ultimate Universe? Like, this is one of their weaker efforts. Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimates. There's probably more. Ultimate X-Men, I hear, is good. I mean, I have it, so I hope it's good. But this one is good. Like with Volume 2, it starts out pretty slow. The middle gets a little bit better, and then the ending is pretty damn good. And I am excited to read the next volume, because it does look like we're going to finally go somewhere. But it's Mike Carey's run up next, and that one got the worst reviews out of the entire series of Ultimate Fantastic Four. If I don't end up liking it, well, I probably should read it. It's right before. It's the one right before that hardcover I still do have. And that hardcover is the whole reason for why it starts with the Marvel Zombies one. And the Marvel Zombies one is the whole reason for why I got into Ultimate Fantastic Four and wanted to get the series as a whole. Wicked and the Divine. This is probably one of, if not the, well, including Saga, one of, if not the best SJW comics. I can see how they could say SJW, and I do see it, obviously. But it doesn't have like an agenda, I guess. It just has characters that are SJWs. But they don't focus on that. They focus on a story, and while it is confusing, I could not tell you what the hell just happened. It is so damn good. It's kind of one of those books too that other than the character, even if you told me like, oh, this character dies next issue, even though I know who they are, I wouldn't consider that to be a huge spoiler. Like I feel like, and there's definitely things they could spoil for me. A good example is what I'll be showing up next. But in the next book I go over, but oh, I lost my train of thought. But because it's so confusing, I wouldn't really consider much to be a spoiler. I don't know why. I don't know what I mean by that. But basically, it is confusing. If you don't like confusing type books, you probably won't like this one. But it's really damn good, and it's much better than that second volume, like last volume. I don't know what was up with that second volume. I think it was just too much exposition about things I didn't understand in the slightest. So now let's segue into this book, and I'm kind of sad to see this series go because I read the last of The Walking Dead. Now I do agree that agree, I guess you'd say, I don't know, but I'm definitely like I can see why it went, because again, like I said, the last 20 to 30 issues were pretty damn slow. Nothing was happening. Everything had like gone. Everything had ended. You know, everything was done with. There was no big threat anymore. There wasn't really like it was kind of mundane stuff. And I kind of try to do something. I do like what they did here. This next, the 16th book, I guess we technically call it, because that's what I read in this compendium. I didn't read this whole entire compendium when I got it. I was about, I would say, 75% of the way through, because this collects, I would say, the last three hardcovers, which collected 12 issues, so it's a total of basically 50, I think. No, it's 36. Because the Spawn Compendium collects 50 of them. I don't know, but point is, yeah. In the final issue, okay, so, let me just, no spoilers right now. But as a whole, I do highly recommend Walking Dead. There's a lot of stuff that happens in it that's really exciting. There were times where I probably could have read 4 issues straight without getting too bored, and I probably should have that day, but whatever. It's really damn entertaining, and one of the best Image books of all time, and one of the best comics of all time I've read. Best comic series, and it gives my seal of approval, I guess you would say too. But this one, it does get kind of slow, and I wasn't like. I kind of had to, for some of the issues, I kind of had to, like, I never wanted to stop reading it. I wanted to see what was going to happen in the end. You know, how it would all wrap up. But if it kept on going, I would have stopped reading it. Like, if it didn't end, if it did, like, if it was like Spider-Man or X-Men or any of the Marvel books, pretty much, that just keep going, never have a stopping point, I would have probably stopped reading. Because it does kind of get slow. Super slow, but I powered through it, and I'm glad that I did. Now, spoilers. I cannot believe that they did a huge time jump after Rick Grimes dies, and like it was kind of weird. Like it jumps. I would say, because Carl, I would say, was a teenager, and he's an adult now. So let's say he's 15 or 16 at the time, although. Or 18, I don't know, what's that? Yeah, let's go that far. Let's say he's 18. That makes sense what happens in the story, because he kind of has to be 18. Anyways, let's say he's 30 now. It's a lot of years. It's 20 to 2022. That's 12 years. It's a 12-year time jump. I like how it ended for the most part. And I just think it ended too good without much explanation of how it was good. But then I remember it was already pretty good before the time jump. So it does make sense that it would get better as time went on. Even better than it already was. Which was pretty good. Like, there weren't as many zombies around. They knew what to do. They were very, very well prepared. Negan was not a threat anymore. They got rid of the Whisperers. All the threats were gone. So they're basically living at peace. And it does make sense that 12 years later, it would be much better. And I like all the character conclusions. Like, they definitely did, from what I heard, when the last issue came out, I think not a lot of people knew it was the last issue. They were like, oh my god, it's the last issue? What the hell? And it was a huge surprise for a lot of people. I don't think when it released, the last issue was 81 pages. I definitely did not read the last two in one sitting like I normally do. I just read today. I actually almost put it off until tomorrow, but I decided to finish them all today and just do my reading recommendations today. Damn it. But it does definitely, but it definitely does wrap up everyone's, like, I wouldn't say story arcs, but it does definitely give a sort of an ending to all of them, and it tells you, like, where these characters were, and, like, it tells you, hey, this is what happened, this is what's been going on for the last 12 years, and do it in a nice way. Like, I don't have an exposition dump, but they're like, oh, and I'm so glad that this happened to this person, oh, and these people, like, they don't do that. They kind of do, like, they do an over, like, a narration. He's reading a book written about Rick Grimes to his kid. Yeah, Carl Grimes has a kid, and it's with Sophia, not with Lydia. And when he's reading the book to his kid, it does show, like, the characters. Because that's one of the best parts about comic books. So you don't have to waste time with, because you can just show the pictures. They didn't have to explain it. But yeah, all in all, I like this series. I like the last issue was definitely a standout in this compendium. I would say this whole entire compendium was when things started to go, I wouldn't say downhill, but started getting more, like, mundane and, Still sad to see this series go, though. But, again, I'm glad that it did finally fucking end, because it was slow. All new X-Men, Out of Their Depth. I gotta remember to solicit the next volume of this book. I really like that series. It's surprising because this came out, I don't know. Well, it was right after It was right after the X-Men crossover. The X-Men crossover. The X-Men crossover with X-Men. No, the Avengers crossover with X-Men that Brian Michael Bendis had done. Which try to find anything on the first Magneto appearance in an X-Men book, because you'll always get that stupid Avengers book by Avengers X-Men book by Brian Michael Bendis. I want to say the X-Men book that I have in that Marvel Masterworks is his first appearance in an X-Men book, the first time of him. Avengers. Sorry, not X-Men, Avengers. His first appearance in an Avengers book. Magneto's first appearance in an Avengers book, not an X-Men book. His first appearance was in X-Men #1. I meant Avengers, not X-Men. Sorry, I get them too confused, and I've been reading them for forever now, and watching movies forever now. Okay, so. Back to off tangent. It definitely is good, because the Avengers versus X-Men one isn't reviewed very well. People don't really like that one, but this series definitely, like, I was really skeptical to start the series, and I'm glad I did. And I'm already on volume 3, and I'm gonna keep continuing with this series. I'm gonna keep continuing with this series. Kind of slow though, bit slow, but it definitely picked up near the end. More so than Fantastic Four did. Batman Gothic by Grant Morrison. Middle ground Grant Morrison work. Not nearly as good as his Batman and Son, but not nearly as bad as his pre-New 52 Batman Incorporated. And definitely better than the New 52 Batman Incorporated. And yes, there is 2 Batman Incorporated series that are 2 totally different Batman Incorporated Volume 1 series by Grant Morrison. One is pre-New 52, which is awful, and one's New 52. But you have to read the pre-New 52 one before the New 52 one, because that kind of goes into that series. And the next Batman book, and I gotta remind myself I own this one, because I don't want to put it in with the library books or return the book I already own. In preparation for reading Batman TMNT 2, I decided to finally read Batman TMNT 1. Well, I had to. I like this one. I was a little skeptical because I didn't like the Detective Comics one by James Tynion. But this one was definitely better. There was a lot more slow parts. I feel like it could have been more fun. It was definitely fun, but I feel like they could have done more with it. And I hope the sequel blows the first one out of the water. Because I wouldn't say I was disappointed with it, but I wasn't totally blown away. I probably could have and should have gotten it at the local library, but I've had this for a while. Apparently, I got it back in 19. They have the when it came in their stock, but I probably didn't get it right when it's in their stock. I'm gonna say it was 2019 because I feel like it wasn't 2020. And actually, when I saw that day, I was pretty surprised it was so new. Aquaman Volume 4. I want to say this is the last Geoff Johns Aquaman. It doesn't wrap up much because I guess he goes on. Because there's Aquaman the Others that has the missing issue collected in here, but the missing issue is issue 20. Issue 24, like he's talking about the Others, and I'm like, wait, is that interluding into that series? That's kind of weird. I don't know, but I might get that after, or Volume 5 of Aquaman, and see how that new run is. On both, I guess. I don't know if the other ones, the Aquaman, the Others, New 52 is Geoff Johns. At least not just the one that he does right. And the final one, Superman, Kryptonite, Nevermore. I don't think he liked Denny O'Neil's writing. I didn't like his Batman book. I don't like this one at all. This one was pretty boring. It was pretty slow. Not slow. It was pretty lame. Not even like lame. It was just kind of mundane. Kind of like, oh, there's a big baddie. He's just as strong as Superman. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. All right. It didn't need to be 9 issues. It could have been 2 issues, and I would not have complained. That's it. And the Denny O'Neil one, that because of me not liking that Batman. I didn't hate that Batman one that he did. It was a Batman Venom. That's what it was called. I didn't hate it. I just wasn't super in love with it either. And the Superman Kryptonite Nevermore did not get the best ratings on Goodreads. It got 3.6, which isn't horrible, but isn't great. I would, and it's 3.6 out of 5, not out of 10. I would probably give it a 5 out of 10. I don't recommend it. I mean, for people, I still recommend it. I still recommend it if you like Denny O'Neil. Again, you probably stop talking to me. Probably stop listening to me because I said that, but whatever. Yeah. Because of those 2 books, that make me make me happy, or I don't know. It makes me glad I didn't get that Joker Bronze Age omnibus, even though it was $60. I wonder if it is still $60. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up now. But that is it. Wow, 22 minutes. I'm gonna look it up right now, so I'll have to put it in the description. I have an Amazon thing up. Again, it's with my birthday list. And they just keep going up and down. I really hope they go down, because some of them are full price. Oh, whoa! Oh, of course it did. I just love when they go down like a few cents. Like, really? Really? That really means much? Probably gonna go back up to where it was at before. It keeps playing that game with the same books, too. Like, I go from 89 to 90, I go from 89 to 90, and then back, no, sorry, I go from 90 to back to 89, and then back up to 80, back up to 90. It was more expensive before. They are both, 89, 99. One's 88. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, Joker Bronze Age omnibus. Oh my god, it's $100 now. Nice. Okay, even more glad I roar that I don't have it. But yeah, wow. Yeah, that's it.